Testing. And put that kind of at the side. All right. So, welcome to CHEM 102 and 104. We're going to talk about a little bit about the lab today because you need some orientation before I just turn you loose in the web. Okay, so first thing I want you to do is to learn how to set up your screen on your side for side by side. And to do that, let me share the syllabus. I think this is the one. Okay, so there's the syllabus. I get a thumbs up from everybody. Can you see the syllabus? Okay. Do you have a printed copy of it yet? Okay, that's good. So in the appendix, Appendix 3, there's a way to set up your screens for side by side. That is, you'll see me in one screen on one side and the shared screen on the other side. And that should make both of them big enough so that you can see the details. The reason I want to do that is so that you can see the whiteboard behind me while I'm going through the PowerPoint slides. I can't do it on my side. But what I want to do is the recording that I'm making of each of our visits will give me separate recordings of the shared screens and each of the on the speaker screen. So then what I have to do is I have to splice them together before I can publish them. And what I'll do is publish them to YouTube and then put a link in Blackboard. Now, if you've been to Blackboard already, and we'll look at it in a few minutes, you'll notice that there are links in there already for past lectures. And those are all good. Some of them are better video quality than others. And I think I've got to the point now that the recordings that I'm making are reasonably good quality. So you should see all the detail in the recording that you can see live. Okay, now for side by side. There are two ways to enter side by side. Every time you log in, start Zoom, or you can have it set up automatically. I think automatic would be better. I mean, if it was me. So what you would do is after you've signed in and we started the session, you go up next to your picture in the upper right-hand corner of your screen. And you click on the picture and it'll give you settings. So you go into settings. And in the settings, there's a selection for share screen tab. And then under that, side-by-side mode. And if you click that, then that will make your side-by-side automatic. Whenever there's anything shared, the speaker and the shared screen will be side-by-side. And I think you can change their size, position them to suit you. If you want to make the PowerPoints a little smaller so you can see the whiteboard better, I'm pretty sure that you can click, grab, and move the divider. Okay, I'm going to give you guys a chance to do that. And to confirm, since we do have a shared screen up, then you can confirm whether or not it's working for you. When you've got it, just give me a thumbs up. All right, there's 1, 2 down, 3, 4. All right, good. Okay. So that's the tail end of the syllabus. We'll go back up. Yeah, I got side by side, and I assume everybody knows how to get into Zoom. If you go into Zoom, if you go into Blackboard, then there's a Zoom connection, a Zoom on the left-hand panel. Let me just go in there and show you. We'll come back to the that share in a minute. I don't want to share, I want a new share. There we go. Okay, so if we go to Blackboard, let's see, where am I? It must be here. Okay, yeah, well, that's in Blackboard. I'm going to go back to, that's inside Blackboard already. So let me go backwards. Now, let me just go to Blackboard. Let's go here. There we go. There's your home screen. Everybody knows how to get into Blackboard up here. There are also some other things on the home screen that you might want to be privy to. Here's where you check your email. If you don't have your email linked to your Outlook, say on your phone or on your computer, which you can do, then here's how you do the web Outlook for email. And that's how you would, and you should check your email at least once a day for updates. Okay, here's My New River. You can get a lot of stuff in there that's good for you. You can look at your profile. You can see everything that school knows about you. You can see it in there. There are other things that you can get to also, but I'm not gonna spend a lot of time on that. Let's go to Blackboard. Okay, so this is the way, yours won't look like this. This is the instructor's view. Excuse me, but if you go to courses and find the course, for me it's right there. Okay, now let me do the student view. Where is it? Here it is. Okay, so that's what it should look like for you. You just have these selections on the left. Every one of my Blackboard courses has a start here. So when all else fails, start here and you'll find everything you need under that one. But I do put some links over here that are useful. This email link is for sending emails only. So if you want to send an email to the whole class or to individuals in the class, that's where you do it. That way you don't have to look through the entire directory to find a student, somebody's name that's in the course. Announcements, don't waste your time. I'll probably get rid of that one anyway. Any announcements, I use email. There's some interesting tools that you might find useful, and then there's Zoom. So if we clicked on Zoom, then there are all the classes that are listed. And there's your meeting ID. So that meeting ID is also in the syllabus. And if you find yourself at a remote location and you don't have access to your computer, it's difficult to get into Blackboard, and you have the Zoom client loaded on your device, either your cell phone or your tablet or your laptop, then you can open that and join the meeting using that ID, in case you find yourself at the doctor's office or something like that. You can always get in using that ID. Okay, so let's go back. Sometimes it's not too friendly here. Let's see. Let's go back here. Start Blackboard. Once we go into Zoom, it doesn't like to go backwards. Okay, so we're still in student mode. So if you start here, then you've got everything. There's your syllabus. If you need another copy of the syllabus, in fact, everything you need from this course, if you want a hard copy, you're going to have to print it yourself. That's the bad thing about Zoom only or web-based courses. I can't give you hard copies printed at the school's expense. If you need a copy of Microsoft Office, all you need is a valid New River email, and you can get a copy there. This connection gives you, well, actually, this is a description. There you go. A PDF or a PowerPoint file gives you information on how to start Cengage OWL. Cengage is the publisher of our textbook, and they have a homework utility that I'm using called OWL. So you need to go in through Blackboard, and this connection right here, if you could click on that, that'll take you out to Cengage, and you can go through the registration process. You'll either need, to simplify things, I tell everybody, just buy Cengage Unlimited. It might seem a little steep, but depending on which version you buy, you can get more than one semester out of it. If you don't have it already, it's probably going to cost you about $120. And that gives you the electronic textbook and access to the homework. In fact, Unlimited gives you access to everything in their publication list. So if you want to browse their stuff, you can just go to town. You might find another chemistry book there that explains it better. But if you like a hard copy, all you have to, there's a way, I don't know the details, but there's a way to order a rental from Cengage once you're registered. Order a rental and you pay shipping. It's like $7 or $8, and you can get a hard copy for the semester. Or you can just go out and buy a cheap one for like 10 or 15 bucks. Let's see, where is it? I got a cat sitting on my book. So this is the current version, 10th edition. But if you want a hard copy, a 9th or an 8th edition will do just fine. Or a used 10th will probably be cost effective. I don't know. I come from the old school, and I always like to have something on paper to scribble on. But the nice thing about the electronic version is you can search it. So if you know what you're looking for, but you can't find it in the table of contents, or the index is kind of cryptic, then you can just search for it and it'll find it for you. Okay, so there's where you register for the courses. When you actually get registered and get ready to do the homework, then you click on this folder right here, and notice underneath it, all the due dates are there. This is straight out of the syllabus, right? So you got it in two different places. The dates, the things that we're going to do on those dates, and the things that are due on that date. Right? So next week we're going to go into chapter 10, and then the following Tuesday we'll do chapter 11, and then we'll have a review on the following Thursday, and then exam on Tuesday. The exams, I'm taking the exams and converting them into Blackboard exams. I'm doing that so that you can take them at your leisure. You don't have to take them during class time, or you don't have to take them on a hard copy and photograph and go through all that rigmarole to get me the copy. I'm converting them into Blackboard exams so that you can just go into Blackboard, do the exam, it automatically grades them, sends me the grade, and we're done.
Is it going to kind of be like what we did last semester?
No.
Kind of, or is it going to be different?
Yeah, it'll be different. Last semester, when I had them online, you had a PDF file that you would download, and you would fill it in, or you would just print a copy and mark your answers, and then you'd have to take a photograph and send it back. This is a Blackboard exam. I'll go in and show you where the Blackboard exams are. In fact, let's hold on homework for a minute. Let's go to the exams. Stream of consciousness here. Exams are here. Okay. So I've got 3 of them prepared already. These other folders are just set up as containers. and 4 through the rest of them don't have anything in them yet. But 1, 2, and 3 are ready to go. So when you're ready for exam 1, you just click on that folder, and you'll also have things that you might need: useful information, periodic table. So you can click on those. You can open them, like right click and open the link in a different tab, right? That's not the one I was looking for. That's not the one I was looking for. Let's see. Get that out of the way. Here it is. All right, so there's your periodic table. I'm sorry, it's sideways. And then you can, useful information. This useful information is, when I had hard copy tests and hard copy review documents, the useful information would be accumulating over the semester. But that was a little difficult to handle in this format. So the useful information here is everything that you would get at the very end of the semester, right? So you may want to take a look at that before you do the test. Let's right click it, open it in another tab. See, it's already completely populated with all the formulas and constants and things that you're going to need. So you might want to look at it in advance. Some of this stuff in chapter 1, most of the stuff you won't use. You won't need it right now. But it's there, and it'll always be there for later. I think this stuff right in here, Bragg equation, that definitely comes in chapter 10 and 11, right? Okay, so now you can pull those up in a separate tab, and then you can go into the exam. So when you click on this exam, if you've never taken a Blackboard exam before, there's some instructions here tell you how long you have to take the exam. I gave everybody 2 hours. I figured that's plenty of time. That's a whole class time, a regular class time to do the exam. You probably finish it in 20 or 30 minutes. But you have that time. And then I set it up so the exam would not automatically submit after 2 hours. Because if you have an interruption of some kind, either, I don't know, technical difficulties, or you have a family emergency, you might have to go away for a few minutes and come back and finish. I'll know that you took longer than 2 hours, but it won't shut you down automatically.
Are we going to have study guides for these?
Say again?
Are we going to have study guides for these?
Yes, I'll show you where those are too.
I'm full of questions, sorry.
That's good. So once you start the exam, though, you have to finish it. Right? If you're interrupted, if a power interruption comes, it may automatically submit your work. So in that case, you need to contact me so I can reset it. If I reset it, then all your answers are gone. Right? So you may want to keep track somehow on the side of what your answers are. And since the test is set up to be randomized, don't use just the test question number. Use some other sort of indicator so that you'll be able to tell what your answer goes with. If you have to restart it, then all the questions will be randomized, and you need to take that into account. Okay. Study guide. Okay, I'm not going to begin this test because if I do, then I have to finish it. Okay, so let's go back, and you've always got these breadcrumbs at the top, so you can go back selectively to where you want to go. Say, I don't want to go back to exams because we just looked at them. Let's go back to start here. And then the study guides and the PowerPoints, all that information that you need for the introduction of the material and the reinforcement phase, I call it, are down here in these folders, one for each chapter. So here's chapter 10 that we're going to be doing next week. Here's your PowerPoints. And if you've never taken my course before, I give you the PowerPoints in 3 formats. There's the actual PowerPoint. So if you have Microsoft Office, you can call it up as a PowerPoint and view it that way. If you don't have access to that, then you can get the PDF file. The only thing wrong with the PDF is you don't get any of the animations or the embedded videos. This is a nice one. If you have the iSpring version, if you have access to a browser, and you can browse to this location, then when you click on that, the PowerPoints will come up in your browser. Right? So if you click on that, they'll load up in the browser. And the nice thing about that is it retains all of the animations and videos that are embedded. I've had to use this sometimes when my PowerPoints were messed up in class. I would just go to this location and call that up and use that for the lecture. Okay, so let's see. Let's close that one. Let's close this one and that one also. Okay, so that's where your PowerPoints are. Let's go backwards and get back to Kessa's question about review documents. Okay, so here's all your reviews, and this review document is in a PDF format, and it gives you questions in a test format. So let me just open one and show you what it looks like. Right. So everybody's familiar with these. Multiple choice, some of them are, let's see, usually toward the end, if we have any, will be, let's see. Well, no, these are all multiple choice in this version. Okay, but multiple choice, you still may have to do some calculations. Right? Some of them are theory, some of them are calculations. Some are easy, some are more difficult. Sometimes I have them arranged in easy, moderate, difficult, whenever possible. But this document is a good place to focus your energies if you're limited on time, because the exams are keyed to this document. So all the major concepts are covered in the document, so the exam is going to reflect that. If we were doing this live and in person, then your exams would look like these documents. Okay, that's the one without the answers. You can print yourself a copy and you can run through it and treat it just like an exam, and then check yourself with the key. So there's your key. Okay. Let's see, there's one other one that I have sometimes. Here we are, worked problems. You guys are familiar with that one that have taken my courses before. So this one takes every one of those problems, almost every one, right, with a few exceptions, almost every one of those problems, and I work them out by hand, right? So if you go through there and you can't understand why the answer is something that, if you got it wrong and the answer is not what you expected and you don't know why, this is a good place to go to find out the reasoning behind the answer that's given. Okay. So these are all in my handwriting. I tried to be as legible as possible. These are several years old now. So what you may find is when we go through the lectures and I start explaining things, I might explain it a little bit different than you would see it in this review documents. Right? But that's not necessarily bad, because the more ways you can come at a problem, I think the better it is to understand it. In fact, you may not just want to listen to me, you want to listen to somebody else. You may want to go online and look up topics that we've covered in class and have somebody else explain it. Because sometimes that will trigger it. And the light bulb will go on and you'll be fine and you'll just move right on. Okay, so those are your review documents. Let's see. Sometimes I have a little extra things on the side, like this one, how to find the edge of a unit cell. And BCC doesn't mean anything to you now, but it will. I also have, I think I have in each one a chapter review, and this is Blackboard version. These will not be the same questions that are in your exam, but they'll be similar. If you want to get some experience, if you want to, if you're unfamiliar with the way Blackboard exams work, then this is a good place to go. Just start this up and it will behave like the exam and give you some experience answering these problems. These reviews in Blackboard are set up so that you can do them over and over and over again. And I don't see the grades. They do give you a grade just so you can self-evaluate, but I don't ever see the grades. They're there to help you review. Okay, so that was chapter 10. Just out of curiosity, let me see what 11 looks like. Go down to 11. And on the way, we'll see these links to previous semester's lectures and review sessions. Right? There's a lot of them. You may want to take the most recent one and work backwards, because I think my earlier ones, the video quality wasn't quite as good. So you're welcome to look at those between the time that we actually go through the lecture and I produced a video and uploaded that one. Once I produced a video for each of the sessions that we have, whether it's lecture or review, I'll post them here underneath each of the chapters. So since exam 1 is on chapter 10 and 11, then those will be under these two. When we have those that are just one chapter, then that's what you get. All right, so that's the logic in arranging these videos. All right, so let's see. I was going to look at chapter 11. Okay, so there we have a similar layout. PowerPoints, reviews. Okay, there's another Blackboard review. Okay, very similar. Sometimes self-help videos, I'm not sure how to calculate molality. I don't even know if this link is any good anymore. On the main page, if we go back to the Start Here page, I've got a folder set up for, where is it? External links to self-help. If you've never used it, Khan Academy is a really good place to start. They're not complete by any means, but if you can find the topic that we're covering currently, then they're good. JFR Science produces good videos. The rest of these, you don't have to spend time on unless you're just curious and want to go after and see what they're about. But if you're looking for outside self-help, these two are good places to go. Okay. Let's see, what did I zoom past here? Homework. Okay, I'll come back to homework in just a second. This is a nomenclature review, right? If you're rusty on your nomenclature, you can go in and review some of those. But if you just took, has anybody had a big gap? Well, I know Steffi's been out of it a little bit since first semester chemistry, but I think she'll pick it up pretty good. I'm not sure about Heather Have you taken first semester CHEM recently?
Yeah, I just finished up 101 in the lab in spring this
Okay.
past.
Where did you take it? I'm curious.
State, West Virginia State.
Okay. All right. So let's see. This, I think, will take you to the ebook. Yeah. So there's your ebook. It won't let you in unless you're registered. Right. So you got to go through that OWL registration first. Then when you click on this, it may have you log in, but you'll be able to access the book from that link. Okay. These, I left these in here. End of chapter problem solutions for 9th edition. You don't have to waste time on that unless you just really want to do those. But there are all the solutions to end of chapter problems. If you're using 10th edition, there might be a little bit different numbering, but most of them are pretty close. Okay, let's go back to homework. All right, so you'll see that down this right-hand column are the things we're going to do on those days, right? So next Thursday, we're going to do chapter 10, then Tuesday, chapter 11, and then we'll have a review on Thursday. And the exam is due by midnight on Tuesday, the 9th of June. But we're not going to do it in class, right? It's just due by the end of that day. What we're going to do is immediately go into chapter 12 at that point. That way we can get chapter 12 done, and we can have a review on the following Thursday. And that's the pattern. 10 and 11 we cover for the first exam, and there's one other one, 14, 15. These two chapters are going to be covered in one exam because they both have to do with acids and bases, and it just makes sense. Okay. The rest of them are single chapters. We will have a final exam due by the 30th. It'll be a Blackboard version too. If this Blackboard works out, I'm going to do all of it in Blackboard. But my fallback position will be the PDF files. If we have to do it that way. I don't want to, but if we have to, we can do it that way. And if we do it that way, I'll do like I always do. I'll send explicit instructions how to get in, how to access the file, what to do when you're finished, so forth. So you don't have to worry about that until we reach that point. Okay, let's see. Now, as far as the lab goes, what I've tried to do with the lab, and we'll get to that in a couple of minutes. We're almost an hour. We're actually doing pretty good on time. We're almost an hour in. So the labs that I've selected coincide pretty closely with the topics that we're covering in lecture. And that's ideally what it should be to reinforce the material that we're covering in lecture. Let's see if I missed anything. All right, that's it. I don't have a final exam review. I may produce one, or if I've already got one somewhere, I'll load it up. But otherwise, it'll just be we'll just cover the whole range of stuff we've talked about and test it on this semester. Okay, any questions before we move on to the lab? Okay, so let me see here. Best thing to do, let me close that, close that, close that. And let's go over to, let's see if I can do it from here. CHEM104. No. I'm going to have to exit preview. And go to, oh, we didn't look at the, hold on a second. We didn't look at the syllabus in detail. We should do that. So let me do a new share and pull the syllabus back up. I think this is it. There we go. Okay. So here's all my contact information. I still got my office phone number there, even though I'm never in my office now. But if you call my office phone, it is still has an answering system, and it will convert any message that you leave into a voice file and send it to my email address. So I'll get it pretty quick. The other way is contact me through my cell phone. If you call me on my cell phone, I probably won't answer because I won't recognize the number. But if you text me at that number, and the first time you text, identify yourself in the course, and then any text that you send after that will be contained within that thread. So if I see a text from you sometime later, then all I have to do is scroll up to the top of the thread and I'll see who it is. Right, so you really only have to tell me once if you text me on my cell phone. You can always email me if time's not an issue. If you're in the middle of an exam and it crashes on you and you want to get started right away, text me. That'll be the quickest way to get me to reset it. Okay, so this is going to be a Zoom. There's your Cengage Unlimited. Yeah, I was right. It's about $120 if you only need it for this summer, which is probably the case since this is the second semester. Hard copy. There are those particulars on the hard copy if you want to locate one of those. Obviously, you need a calculator, a scientific calculator, and if it says scientific on the package, it'll have everything you need. Don't use your cell phone during the exam, and I'm going to have to trust you to not go surfing for answers. The only way I could have prevented that or discouraged that any better than just relying on your honesty is to set the exams up in Respondus Lockdown Monitor. Respondus Monitor Lockdown Browser. But I saw that as an extra level of complexity that we didn't need right now. So you just go to your exams in Blackboard and be honest. Obviously, you're going to need a reliable internet connection. Since you're here, I assume that that's okay. PC, laptop, or tablet. Tablets work. The only type of laptop that does not work well is a Chromebook, because a Chromebook does not have its own hard drive. It cannot store information. If it's not connected to the internet, it doesn't work, and it's given us problems in the past. So if you like Chromebook, fine, just don't use it for this course. Other materials, review documents, PowerPoints, we've already covered those. Learning outcomes, you can look at those if you want. Regular exams, I mentioned the PDF fillable form here as an exam, but we're going to focus on Blackboard. We're going to do Blackboard as far as it'll take us. Homework, right? Now, when you get into OWL, when you're registered and you look at the homework, if you see anything else besides end of chapter problems, you can do those if you want, just for review, and they give you reinforcement, but they're not graded. The only ones that are graded are the end of chapter problems, and they will say graded in their title. Okay? So I don't want you to waste your time doing homework problems in other sections, like they have one called Mastery. I tried Mastery, and it was a disaster. So I settled on end of chapter problems, and they seem to work out fairly well and give me and you an idea of how well you know the material. So that's just a word of caution. I may record a past due assignment as 0, and it'll be reflected in your overall average. But once you turn it in, I replace that 0 with the value. And for now, without penalty. Let's see, you do get credit for showing up. All right, so I'll give you 10% credit for actually showing up, and I keep track of it. You don't have to sign in, but I have to see your picture, right? So I see Isaac has disappeared. I hope he's still there, because if that happens in future lectures, there you go, thank you. If I don't see you there, then I assume that you skipped out and you're just leaving your computer on, so you'll get credit for being here. Let's see. Because you're getting credit for showing up, there are no excused absences. Right? If I didn't give you credit, then sure thing. I mean, the college has its policy, and I have my policy. Their policy covers excused absences. My policy says never. So try to show up for everything you can close to the beginning, because if something happens later on and you miss, then you miss out on some of that 10% averaged into your grade. Okay, so here's the grading scale. Attendance, we covered that one. There's attendance is 10%. Homework's worth 20%, right? The final exam's worth 20%. And all of the chapter exams averaged together are worth 50%. Okay, so I mentioned earlier, check your email at least once a day, because if I may not make any modifications to the course, but if I do, and if I make an announcement, it's going to come through email. I know a lot of instructors like to use Blackboard and their announcement feature, but I don't. That's too complex. Email, just check your email once a day and you'll be good. My grades, everybody know where to find my grades? Yeah, you just go up and click your little picture or drop down menu. There you go. And my grades is in here somewhere. Calendar, there it is, my grades. So you click your my grades and you can see there'll be a running, wait a minute, you may not be able to see that, right? Because I was on syllabus. Sorry, I keep forgetting that you don't see unless I share it, right? But when you're on Blackboard, just go to your little picture in the upper right-hand corner and click the drop-down menu and you'll find my grades. All right, so let me go back to, where was I? Here. There we go. I'm still sharing the syllabus, I think. Thumbs up? Yeah, okay. We can do tutoring sessions, right? This is the only course I'm teaching during the summer term. So I wouldn't say I'm wide open because I still have family obligations, but we can work out a Zoom tutoring session if you want, for individuals or for the class as a whole. You know, if you guys think you need some extra, I mean, like maybe when we get into chemical kinetics, that always throws my students into a tailspin. You might need a little extra help there, question answer session, or we can do a private session, whatever you want. just let me know, and we'll schedule one. And what I'll do is create a special Zoom session and send you an invitation. It won't be the same ID as the one for our regular classes. Okay, so here's the schedule. This is reproduced in Blackboard. Right? So Rob, probably important dates. Last day to withdraw is 23rd of July. This class is only going to take 10 weeks, right? We're compressing 16 weeks into 10, which is doable. I mean, at least you're not taking organic chemistry. I do a whole semester in 5 weeks in organic. So just count your lucky stars. Let's see. All this stuff you've seen before, and I'll let you read it at your leisure. Extra credit. If there are the Blackboard exams will have some extra credits in them, right? And they'll be marked. They won't occur at the end like our paper tests did, right? All my paper tests, the extra credits occur at the end. But since I've randomized the questions, extra credit might occur anywhere in the Blackboard exam. So if you don't want to touch it at that point, just skip the extra credit. And I've set it up so each exam you can scroll back to previous questions. If you have second thoughts, you can change the answer before you submit the exam. You don't have to do one at a time and you're stuck with the answer that you gave, right? So you get the whole exam at once. Makeup testing is kind of a non-issue because we're doing it on Blackboard. You can take it anytime you want. You could even take it early if you're really ambitious. But I wouldn't do that unless you've had this course before somewhere else and you feel comfortable with the topics. It's probably a good idea if you wait till we get through, at least through the review before you tackle the exam. Let's see. As far as etiquette goes, if you're on camera, you probably want to be dressed, right? You don't want to be in your pajamas laying on your bed. Right? You don't want to have your naked 2-year-old running around in the background either. Right? So just treat it like as if you were face-to-face in class. How would you dress and how would you behave? And you'll be fine. There's the rest. That stuff is required. I have to put that in every one. So you've seen that before. The last, the appendices are here. This is how you connect with, set up your OWL account. Right? So there are your step-by-step instructions. If you have difficulty, let me know. If I can help you, I will. If not, I will give you the Cengage representative's phone number and email, and you can harangue her. She's really very good and very even-tempered, and you can't make her mad. So just contact her if you have real problems getting in. And the end of chapter problems are one format. I think I left in here references to mastery questions, right? So mastery questions are not going to be an issue unless you want to go in and use them as practice, right? But they're not graded. Mastery questions do just that. I mean, you master the material if you can do these. But it was causing too much trouble for my students to actually get through the course, and they were fretting over it, and they were just losing sleep and time, and it was a mess. That's a 4-letter word. So I cut those out, and end of chapter problems are all you have to do. Right, so we get down to Appendix 2. This is how you get into Zoom. You obviously know how to do that, or you wouldn't be here. And then here's our side-by-sides. Right, so if you want to get out of side-by-side, you can do it manually. So at the top of your screen, you should see View Options, and you can turn the side-by-side off if you want. Um, but when I publish the video, it will be in a side-by-side format or a top and bottom format, whichever is easier. Okay, so that takes care of the syllabus. All we have now is the syllabus agreement. Now, how are you going to deal with that? Well, what you'll have to do is at least print out this one page, sign it, print your name, date it. This just says that you're going to abide by the syllabus. You're going to read it cover to cover. And if you have any questions, you're going to ask me. Otherwise, you understand what's required. And what you'll do is, once you've got that signed, then the best way I find is to use a little app that's available. Some of you may already have it. It's called, where is it? I'll write it on the board. I got some help from a cat. Now, if you don't have a multifunction printer with a scan capability, or your scanner's not working, then take your cell phone and go to the, let's see, if you have an iPhone, it's iTunes, right? If you have an Android, it's Play Store, and find this app, Cam Scanner. And with that Cam Scanner, you can take a picture with your camera, and the Cam Scanner will convert it into a PDF file. And then you can attach it to an email and send it to me. And then you're done. Try not to send me images. I mean, I can deal with them. It's very tedious. Whenever you can produce a PDF, it's much better.
If you have an iPhone, you can also go into your notes,
Yes.
and there's a document camera that you can click on your notes in an iPhone, and will scan it as a document and save it. And
Okay.
then you can send it. You can send it in an email as well, or you can send it through Blackboard like that too.
Okay.
But I don't know about Androids, but I know on an iPhone you can do it, but you have to go through your notes. There's an app that comes with the phone.
Okay. Okay. That's good. No, I wouldn't say I'm anti-Apple. I just find them difficult to deal with in most cases. So I just don't deal with Apple products. I try to help my students where I can. For instance, the extended character set document that I've handed out in class. Let's see, we finished this one, so let me share the Blackboard again. Let's see, where is it? Here. Yeah, there we go. Let's go into student view so it'll look familiar. Okay. I think I skipped over it somewhere. It might be, it could be in the lab in 104. Yeah, I bet that's where it is. So we'll get to that in a second. Supplemental documents, maybe it is in here. Naming documents, solubility, stoichiometry. No, I don't have it here. Okay, so it must be in the 104 Blackboard. Those who've taken my course before, taken the first semester, have already gotten a hard copy of this, but I'll show you where it is to find. Let's go to 104. Let's see, there it is. Okay, now let's look at it as you would see it. I've still got some garbage in there. I'll clean that up later. So this is what the Blackboard looks like for Chem 104. You'll have your syllabus. I don't have a schedule in this one because it's only one course. and I'm not on campus. Safety documents, lab exercises are here, lab notebook and reports. All right. So this is probably where that, I'll talk about these in a second once I find the one I'm looking for. Yeah, extended character sets. Okay. So what this is if you've ever tried to type out a document and you need symbols that are not on the keyboard readily available. For instance, let's see, can I expand this, make it bigger? I was looking for a zoom tool. No, okay, well, if you need something like, let's say, for instance, well, let's say you want to type in your report, blah blah blah, 25 degrees centigrade. You need a degree sign. Where are you going to find that? Well, you could go into the character map and find it, copy and paste it, or you could just go to this one right here and hold down your.
Hi, David. This is Erin at Universal Innovations in Beckley. I was calling.
Hold on one second.
To let you know that one of our guys is going to pick up your doors today and deliver them to your house. And Jake.
Hey, hi. Hi. Yeah, I'm in the middle of teaching a class right now online. So he can come anytime. I'll be home. That's no problem. Bye-bye. Sorry about that. I got new doors for my house coming in, and it's just one of those things. Okay, back to the topic. If you wanted to put in that degree sign, it would be located right here. And to do it, you would hold down the Alt key and type this number sequence 0176 on your number keypad. And then when you let them both up, the symbol appears. Right? So that's a quicker way to get the symbols that you need rather than having to go through the character map. Now these are for Windows-based and DOS-based computers, these first two groups, this one and this one, right? So I try the Windows characters first. If they don't work, I go to the DOS characters. Sometimes they work, depending on what font you're in. And this is especially good when you're typing up your formal lab reports. It saves you a lot of time. If you just keep this thing handy, then you can type in things that you need without having to go through all that other problems. Now, if you have a Mac computer, I've got some symbols over here that are supposed to work, but since I don't have a Mac, this is all theoretical. So if you have a Mac computer, print this thing out and try these in a document and just see if they work, okay? There are probably a whole bunch of other symbols with these codes attached to them, but these are the ones that I found that will probably be most useful. You can add others if you want. And in fact, if you add some that you think would be good to have, let me know and I'll put them in the document. Okay. So now let's go back up here to the top. What if we go, I'll tell you what, let's go to the syllabus. And let me share the syllabus. I could probably do it this way. Then I want to share a second screen. There we go. Okay, so there's Chem 104. You may find this, I don't know, interesting, counterproductive, or even stupid to try to do a lab completely online. When I have the opportunity to use simulations, that seems to work fairly well. I do that for my physical science survey class. Almost exclusively, we do simulations. But but I haven't worked at this. Corona thing crept up on us, so I'm not quite prepared to do all simulations for chemistry. So my compromise is that I'm going to deliver in video format a discussion of the lab exercise itself with the theory and the procedures, and then I'm going to give you the data that would have been collected following those procedures that I give you. Okay? Then with that in hand, you should be able to produce a lab report. Two of the lab reports are informal, which means you just have the hard copy. You print out the hard copy for the lab, and I'll show you where they are in a second. Fill it out, scan it or photograph it, and put it in the Dropbox, which is within Blackboard. I'll show you where that is too. The other labs, I think there's 6 of them, so that means 4, are formal lab reports. And for those of you who have had my CHEM102 or its equivalent, you know what's expected of you. Let's see, Isaac had 213 at Southern, so he knows what my formal lab reports are like. And Kessa and Steffi know. Heather, I'll show you where that information is here. So let's go back. How do you do a formal lab report? Right. Well, here are the lab exercises. Let me just show you one of those. I'm going to do that. Let's say we're going to do kinetics. Now let's do the first one. Molecular weight by freezing point depression. Okay, here's the document. This gives you the method. And that's the method that I'm going to use in my video discussions. Right? This is an extra video on how to find the freezing point by using Excel. You don't have to do that, right? Unless you just want to. I'll describe in the video how to find the freezing point and what to do with that information. Then here's where you actually drop it. This is your Dropbox. So if you click on that, then you see that there's a place here to browse your computer, find the file that you're going to attach, and then once you've got your lab report there, and you can give it to me in Microsoft Word, PDF format. It needs to be typed, right? So it's going to be in some useful format. It could be a text file. It could be a rich text file. It could be, what else do we have? What do they use in Apple? Anybody here use Apple laptops or computers? No, good. Okay. So give it to me in a Word document. That's the best way. And then go down here and submit. And it'll show up in my gradebook as submitted. Right? If you have trouble with the gradebook, then your backup is to attach it to an email. But don't do the email first. Try it in Blackboard. If Blackboard's giving you fits, then you can attach it to an email. Okay, so that's what you do with your formal lab report. How do you write one? Okay, down here, this is the rubric that I use to grade the reports. It'll look familiar to everybody who's had my course before. Okay, so you get higher points to the left, and these are the sections that these are the categories that I'm grading on, right? If there are no points If there's nothing there, then it's grayed out. One place you don't want to end up is over here on this far right corner. If you get one of those, no points recorded for that. Now, if you get all 12s, I have had some students do that. It's rare, but occasionally. Then you'll notice that if you add up the 12s all the way down, it's more than 100 points. Right, so you can get more than 100. If you get some 12s and some 9s, then you're in pretty good shape. And then if there are any questions that have to be answered in the lab report, and you'll see those in the method itself, then those questions I look at separately, and this section right up here is where I take points off for questions answered incorrectly. Late submissions are assessed here. I'm going to be kind of lenient in the beginning because this is a new format for everyone. It's new for me. So I'm not going to be too strict on the submission date. Just don't abuse the privilege. And then your total score. And what I'll do is I'll scan this document once I've graded it, and along with your score in your grade book, you'll have this attached, right? I'm not going to scan your whole report where I've scribbled in it. That's just too much. But you will get the rubric back so you can see. And what you ought to do is look at where you're deficient in these certain areas and try to improve. One place that just blows my mind is grammar. We've got spell checkers and grammar checkers, and students still come up with the wrong format. When you write your report, your steps in the procedure need to be third person, passive, past tense. That is, such and such was done, right? Not I did this, or he did that, or whatever. They'll still give me these other tenses, first person, second person. Sometimes they'll even just copy it straight out of the method. That gets you a 0. I mean, if you regurgitate the method, the procedure in the method, then you get no points for that. At least try to do something. And what you may see sometimes is if I see occasional third person passive past tense and you revert to some other tense, what I may do is circle both of them and draw a line, which means you split the difference, 9 points instead of 12 or 6. Okay, so that's how I grade your formal lab reports. Now, what should they look like? All right. We'll talk about the lab notebook in a minute. The lab report format is here. And I'm looking for, you need a title page that's separate from everything else, right? And it'll have the title of the experiment, it'll have your name, it'll have the course in it, at least, and a date. You don't have to put lab partners in there because you don't have any. So that's your title page. The body of the lab report is you're going to have an objective, right? And that's usually also in the report. And I'd like you to put it in your own words. What's the objective of the experiment? Why am I doing it, right? Not just because it's part of the course. That doesn't fly. Then materials. What materials are used? And you'll get those from the printed hard copy and from my discussion. What materials are required for the report. Say something about safety. If you were actually in the lab doing it, you would have to take care that you don't blow things up or splash acid on your neighbor or, you know, drop a beaker and everybody walk through it. You know, things like that. Eye protection, just basic stuff. What considerations need to be taken for this particular lab exercise if you were in person. Then your procedure, numbered step by step. What actually happened? See yourself in the lab doing what I told you was done. okay? And then write it as if you were in the lab, actually did it. Like so many, approximately 22 grams of compound such and such was weighed on an analytical balance and transferred to blah, blah. That type of thing. Still has to be third person passive past tense. So you have to imagine yourself actually being in the lab. Then the data that was collected. At least put it in a table, right? In the table format, let's see. I assume you guys can see me on the split screen. The table format, where's my, oh, here it is. I get my rag. So a sample table would look like and the table will have a title. I mean, what's in the table? Tables and figures, like graphs or even pictures, in any type of publication have to stand alone. If they're extracted, everything has to be with that table, picture, graph to explain what it is, what it means, right? So think in those terms and you'll be fine. So it has a title. It may have, you did something here, and then you did something here, and then you did something here. And what did you end up with? You ended up a mass of such and such a chemical, right? And then what are the units of your mass? Well, in parentheses, you put like grams. Then down here, all you have to do is put the numbers. Right? You don't have to put grams next to the number. If you do a calculation based on that, then there'll be something else over here, right? But a table is a good way to present data when you just have a few numbers, and they really don't lend themselves well to drawing them in a graph. Some do, some don't. This first one with freezing point depression, you will have a graph, right? You will draw a graph. If you have to draw it by hand, okay, take a picture and insert it in your formal report. It's better if you know how to use graphing software, right? Because Excel will graph it for you, right? So, always in the back of your mind, keep the reader back here whispering in your ear, saying, yeah, that's good. I can follow that. No, that's garbage. I don't even know what you're doing here. Because that's what I'm going to be thinking. If I see your data, if I see your descriptions, if I see anything in there that doesn't flow, it doesn't tell me what actually happened, the data that you collected, and then what you did with it, then it's going to be hard for me to give you a good grade. So keep that little voice in the back of your mind saying, or write the report and give it to somebody and say, can you understand what's being done here? That's a good way, right? Especially if you have a family member or a friend who's gone through it before and knows what to look for, give it to them, let them read it, you know, and they'll give you some good advice. And your grade will reflect that. Okay, so now we're past safety procedure data, present your data, and it will always have a caption, a description, a title, and a description. Then calculations. Show me how you dealt with the data. What did you do with the data? The calculations that are required with the data. All right. Then if you have any questions that are part of the report, then answer those in this section. Now, if the question says, tells you to treat the data a certain way and present it a certain way, then you can just reference the part of your report where that appears in the calculations or in the data or in the results, conclusions, right? If you draw a graph and the question says, draw a graph, you don't have to draw it a second time. Just tell me where it is, right? Some questions stand alone, some of them reference points in the report, right? So you need a summary and conclusions, right? And you'll see that in the rubric that I'm looking for that. And if I see a title page and all of these items present, then that first category in the rubric will give you at least 9 points credit. And if you've gone to extra effort and I see it, you may get 12 points out of it. But if you're missing one of these sections, then you get graded down. Okay. Okay. Let's see. These things down here are, see, I stole this one from Dr. Block, right? So this stuff down here is for him, not for us. This is what you want to focus on, the title page and the body. Okay. Now that's the format of your report. That may or may not suffice, but if it doesn't, I give you a sample report with the grading rubric attached. As soon as it shows up, there it goes, right? So this student did very well on this particular report. Oh, got all 12, so that's 108 points. All right, so this is what the report looks like, and I've taken out all personal information, right? So this is their Boyle's Law lab, right? And it shows you everything that's included, right? There were some minor mistakes, but they weren't serious, right? And that gives you an idea of what I want to see in a perfect report, okay? So you can download that and use that as a guide. There's some questions. Some questions are pre-lab, some questions are just called questions, and some questions are called post-lab. If they're both types in there, please identify which one's which, because the numbers are going to be started all over again with a different set. And that way, I want to know which ones are which. You don't have to repeat the question itself. This student did. But when you do your answers, if they're not just simple calculations, then build your answer into a complete sentence, right? And you may have to use parts of the question to build that sentence or paragraph. Okay, there's some post-lab questions in this particular exercise. Okay, this student didn't have access to high-end drawing software, so she embedded hand drawing, which is fine if you have to. Okay, conclusions and summary, right? She even cited some outside references. If you have some, fine. If you don't have to put that in there. That's extra. In Louisiana, they call that lagniappe. Lagniappe is a French Cajun word for something a little extra. Okay. Let's see. Plagiarism is not so much a problem in this class because you don't have lab partners, right? So you're going to have to do your answers. I mean, unless you go out of your way and contact another person in the class and say, hey, why don't we, put our answers together and construct ours. Don't do that. Just read this and you'll find out what I consider plagiarism. And this course probably doesn't apply that much. Sample lab report, ASCII characters. I give a little extra note down here, and I've already talked about that. Okay. So let's see. Let me back up and see if I'm missing anything else. Lab exercises, we've looked at those. Safety, we're not going to do a safety contract simply because we're not going to be in the lab. But you may want to look at it because it gives you good pointers as to what you might be looking for when you do your safety item in your formal lab report. This could give you some good ideas as to what to look for. Let's see. Exercises. Okay. So we've got 6 exercises. I've got them all set up already, except for the last one. Electrochemistry is just stumping me. It will be an informal report, whatever it is. Right? So your last formal report will be this one, complex ion. Le Chatelier's principle is an informal report. Right? So the only formal reports are the 1, 2, 4, and 5. Informal will be this one, and this one if I ever figure out how to get it to you. If I don't, I may have to cancel it. But there are not that many reports, so you should do well on each one. And the let's go back to the syllabus and take a look at, let's see. Oh, the lab notebook, I almost forgot. You don't have to keep a lab notebook for this class. But if you do, if you take my videos and fill out your lab notebook with all that information, set it up properly, then at the end, take photographs, send them to me however you can, and I'll give you 5% extra on your final average. Right? So if you're like got an average of 87, then that'll bump you up into an A. Right? So if you keep a lab notebook, it could be worth it in the end. How do you keep a lab notebook? Well, those who have had my course before know how to keep a lab notebook. Let's see, I think, let's go back over here. Here, lab notebook. All right. So how to keep a lab notebook. Nah, that's not the best one. Let me see. Actually, they're both okay. You'll get a bound lab notebook. Best place to find it is Walmart, 95 cents. You want to get a lab notebook that is, hold on a second. Oh, shoot. I thought I had a blank one here somewhere. But there are 2 types of bound notebooks that you can find in the store. Ones that are just ruled, they have straight lines across, and another one is the quadrilined. Quadriline means that every page is like that. That's so you can draw graphs. But when you set up your notebook, you want to identify it on the front cover, just like you would a report, your name, the course. You can even put my name as the instructor if you want. And then number your lab notebook front to back, starting with the first page. Right? When you open the cover, right? This is going to be the back side of the cover, so this is your first page. That's number one. When you flip the page over, now we're on 2 and 3. So every right-hand facing page is going to be an odd number, and every left-hand facing page is going to be even. Number it from front to back. I think they're usually 200 pages. In ink, everything's in ink. Just don't use red. And after you get it numbered, then on the first page or maybe the third page, you'll have a table of contents. All you have to do is say, what experiment is it? And the page number it starts on. That's it, just where it starts. And each time you get a new experiment or exercise, you put it in here with a different page. Okay? So leave page 3, maybe page 5 also for your table of contents. And then start on page 7 for your experiments. So you'll have your title here, and then you'll have your objectives. You'll have everything in here that you're going to need in your report. If you do it that way, you can write your report from this. And in the beginning, only write on the right-hand side, right? And leave space between your lines for corrections. What do you do if you have to make a correction? Well, if you have something here and it's wrong, line through it and put the right stuff. Okay. If you have a big section that you have to replace, exit out and go to the next available space. Or, since you've left this side alone, you could put it over here. That's why the left side is always left blank. For corrections, for additional information, say you create a graph, print it out, cut it, paste it in here. Right? Pasted your graph in there. All right, how do you know if it's been tampered with? Well, if you paste anything in your book, you initial it across that border. And if you initial it across the border, then you know if it falls out or somebody steals it or gets ripped out accidentally, you know it's been tampered with. Okay, so that's how you fill out your lab notebook. When you do your lab notebook, I mean, if you want to, right, it's worth 5%. Fill out your lab notebook if you want to. Then if you fill it out properly, then you can take this, set it up next to your computer, and write your entire report from your lab notebook. It's the easiest way to do it. This is a permanent record. If you had a job at some company where you were working in a lab, they would have you keep a lab notebook, and that lab notebook will be their property, right? If you leave it behind. And you leave it behind in such a way that anybody that follows you can follow your experiments and pick up where you left off, right? It's not written in some, you don't write it in Greek shorthand, right? So that nobody can understand it. You write it in plain English, as legibly as possible, in ink, and if you make a mistake, you just cross through it. Nobody's going to fault you for crossing through a mistake. And you don't write in pencil so you can erase it, because anybody can go in and erase it and change it, right? You do it in ink, indelible ink. Okay. So that's what I'm looking for in your notebook if you want that extra 5% credit. You won't have to do the, you can put the informal reports in there if you want, but you don't have to. So that means you would only have 4 reports in your lab notebook if you want to do that and turn it in at the end and get some extra credit. Okay, let's see, that takes care of the notebook. There's a rubric. Okay, there's our formal lab reports, grading scale. I'm going to do 100% lab reports because there's no attendance really. And there's no lab skills involved. So everything depends on your lab reports. I know that's kind of heavy, but because you only have 6 reports, what is that? Well, I don't know. If you only have 5, say I kicked electrochemistry out, that's 20% for each report. So it's a heavy weight for each report, and you want to do well. I guess the saving advantage is it's only worth 1 credit hour. Okay, so here's the schedule, right? And on this date or before, I will have produced a video for this lab, and then on that date, this lab, and so forth and so on. And I'll send you a notice, an email notice, when those videos are available, right? I've already got one for freezing point depression, but it's not very good quality, so I'm going to redo it. The video quality is poor. So it's hard to see what's on the board. So I'm going to do that one all over again. Okay, there are no tests, no exams of any kind in the lab. Just the lab reports and the extra credit if you choose. Let's see, what else? The college wants me to report students present even in web-based courses, right? So how do I do that? If you turn your reports in on time, I count you as present and participating when I go into DropGuard to report. Right? If I hadn't gotten a report by that date, then I report you as not participating. The bad part of about that is DropGuard is instantly available to the registrar and financial aid. So if you've got financial aid and they see that you're not participating, they may contact you. Okay. You can read that at your leisure. My advice is don't procrastinate. Right? We've only got 10 weeks. They're going to fly by in a hurry. So as soon as you've got an assignment that's up, say a video, then you will have access to the data. In fact, I may also publish the data in a document form within the folder for each experiment. That way you'll have a hard copy of it. You won't have to depend on transcribing it from the board or from a shared screen. So that's what I'd like to do is put it in document form in the folder so you'll have access to the data there. Okay, the rest of it and the syllabus agreement, we'll do it the same way as the one for 102. Just print it off, fill it out, and attach it to an email. Attach the PDF to an email. Okay. Well, we're ahead of schedule. I'm trying to think if I missed anything or if you have any questions. Let me stop the share. There we go. If you have any questions that pop up later, just shoot me an email or a text or whatever. I'll get it pretty quick, even if it's an email. I have all my emails linked to my cell phone. So you send me an email, it pops up. And I'll get back to you quick as possible. The only time I don't respond is when I'm driving. I could be sitting in the doctor's office and I'll respond. Okay.
You have
Yeah.
the nosiest cat.
Yeah, he's a real lover boy.
He's cute though.
I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cats in here now and 1 dog. And the reason is, you know, the phone call I got for the doors, I got the doors, and one of the doors has to go in the laundry room where all the litter boxes are kept. But I can't, they have to have that open space when they're putting in the door, and I don't want the cats to get out. So we close off the laundry room. They wouldn't have access to the litter boxes. So the litter boxes are right here on the floor in my office. And I have to keep my office door open so they have access. It's fun. Actually, there were 6. I didn't see that one over there. I think they like it in here because my office is warmer than the rest of the house. I don't know about you, but I'm having a hell of a time with fleas. It's horrible.
We buy this flea and tick stuff from Walmart for the grass, and it helps. Because even if the cat doesn't go outside, it still helps. Because my mom and dad have inside-outside cats too, and it helps. Plus, their dog goes in and out.
Oh, my doors are here. So unless you have any questions, we'll end the meeting and pick it up on Thursday, same time, same station. Okay?
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.